rumor that is swirling around right now. We got the Ryan Gosling rumor. We got this Ahsoka rumor that Christian Harloff kind of broke on his YouTube channel. But I would really like to see Natalie Portman come back to Star Wars. We saw it with Thor, and that was kind of some mixed results. We didn't see some great things about that. But she's always been someone that the Star Wars fans have loved and have been able to rally around. So I would love to see her come back and some goodwill. The same thing happened with Anakin and Obi-Wan when Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen came back. Both of them brought so much joy to the fans, and it's really interesting to see the cycle of the prequels because I was there in 99 when they came out, and the hype and the anticipation was so monumental, and then the actual fan enjoyment was not. And the prequels went through 2005, and they kind of came and went, and a long time they were a joke in Star Wars. It was like the butt of all the jokes was, oh, the prequels and Jar Jar Binks. Those were the two things that were always the butt of the jokes in the Star Wars fandom and community. But now in 2025, 20 years after Revenge of the Sith, there are a lot of fans of the prequels and a lot of people that grew up on the prequels, and that is their Star Wars. And that makes me happy because it just proves that there isn't any one specific version of Star Wars that you can say is not Star Wars. People said that a long time about the prequels. They're saying it about the sequels now. I think don't yuck other people's yums. If they like it and you don't, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Everything is Star Wars, and we can all have a good time in this galaxy far, far away. But Natalie Portman specifically, I think, would bring a lot to that role of Padme. And we didn't get to see her in Obi-Wan, but maybe in Ahsoka season 2, in either just a regular flashback of Padme, they can do her makeup. They could de-age her digitally like they did with Hayden and Ewan and Obi-Wan, or it could be the world between worlds, and we could get something with Padme and Hayden. That would be interesting. I'd like to see that. Hello, Jax Rankin. Hello. Glad to have you here talking Star Wars, talking Natalie Portman. What do you think? What are your thoughts on Natalie Portman returning? Could she bring something to the role? Is there more to say with Padme's story? I know they've explored stuff in the Clone Wars, in the comic books. There's been some novel stuff, but we haven't seen her in live action since 2005, since Revenge of the Sith. Is there more to say with Padme's story? I think so. Jax Rankin thinks so here in the live. I think it's something that the fans would like to see. And Natalie Portman is a great actor. She could bring a lot to it. I think there's a lot that could still be mined from Padme and from a lot of the prequel era actors. And even if you could see Hayden and Ewan come back, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Padme, all of those people come back, that would be great. We got some great comments going on in the comments section. Hello. Hello, everyone. Uh, David, what are we capping about? What are we capping about? I think Natalie Portman would be a great addition back to Star Wars. Like I said, she's got her own fans and her own subset. A lot of my most well performing videos on this channel are Natalie Portman and comments that she made way back in 2005, 2007. Over the years, I think her prequel, like she's been built up as one of the forces in Star Wars that a lot of people like. I think that would be great. I think we could see a lot from Natalie Portman, and I think Star Wars in general would benefit from maybe some of that star power coming back. And that's what the Ryan Gosling rumor was so intriguing about because it's a big name actor. It's someone who you wouldn't expect necessarily to be in Star Wars. So I'd like to see that. I'd like to see more of the people bringing their audience into Star Wars. People who maybe, if you're a Jude Law fan and you never watched Star Wars, well, he's in Skeleton Crew, and that that could be your gateway into Star Wars. That could be the first thing that you ever saw in Star Wars. I would be interested to see that. Natalie Portman, like I said, she's got her own fans. She's went on to do great things outside of Star Wars. She came back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe with her role in the third Thor movie. So I'd really like to see what can she bring 20 years later. What does she have to say about this character? But it's going to depend on the writers. It's going to depend on what can they do to bring this story back to life. And is there anything left to say? Because that was something about Obi-Wan. That show I liked, and I like Ewan McGregor, but what was it saying about Obi-Wan? What was that story that we hadn't seen before? I didn't think the story that they told was interesting enough. They had that really great flashback to the Clone Wars with Anakin and the world between worlds, and that really is what kind of was interesting to me more than anything in the Ahsoka show was that flashback. What was the story in Obi-Wan that was worth telling? I don't know. I really would like to see more in the Star Wars universe with Natalie Portman. So I'm curious if this rumor ends up being true. This is not an official announcement, but if it ends up being true, what do you think? Are you in? Are you all in on Natalie Portman coming back to Star Wars? Let me know in the comments down below. We want to hear from you here on Trust in the Force. Don't forget, we're going to be talking Andor Season 1, Andor Season 2. We got a lot of good stuff. Celebration is coming up in April, so a lot of good Star Wars stuff coming up. We would love to see you here on Trust in the Force, and we would always be honored if you would join us.